So thanks for coming in. I'm really, excited to start working with you. I wanted to kind of have you come in and talk about the independent field work and the supervision and how it's going to be set up, and just some of the guidelines that we have to follow. So first of all, I just wanted to ask, how many hours per week are you on average working, actually implementing behavior analytic procedures, or within that area?
Between 35 and 40 hours a week.
Okay. So in terms of what counts towards your independent field work, you have to work at least 10 hours per week, which obviously you do, but you can't count any more than 30.
Okay.
So in a week where you're working, 35 plus hours, only 30 of those would be able to count towards your field work. Okay. And those hours again need to be where you're actually implementing behavior analytic procedures, or you're doing training of staff where you're actually using those skills.
Okay, great.
Okay. And then in terms of your supervision, we have to make sure that you maintain a certain ratio of the independent field work hours that you are accruing and the supervision that you're accruing during that same 2-week period.
Okay.
So in order for you to be able to count everything, you have to receive supervision at a ratio of 5% to the hours that you're working. So for instance, if you're accruing 30 hours of field work for that week, then you need to get 1.5 hours of supervision during that time. Okay. Because we need to make sure that a minimum of 5% of your field work hours are being supervised. Okay. So if you're working 30 hours a week, then you have to get 1.5 hours of supervision to make sure that that counts. Okay. So if that's on average what you're doing on a weekly basis, then maybe what we could do is just set our supervision meetings of always to be 1.5 hours.
Perfect.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's great.
Okay. And then during our supervision meetings, the individual ones that you and I do together, it's actually really great, because one of the things that is required is for me to actually do a direct observation of you working with a client.
Okay.
So it could be an in-person observation where I go with you to, observe you working in that setting, or it could be something that we do through like a video feed. Or you could even videotape yourself working with the individual, and then we review it during our session.
Okay, perfect.
So it gives me an opportunity to kind of watch you and give you, positive reinforcement for everything that you're doing, but then also any suggestions or corrective feedback in terms of maybe things that might be working a little bit better, or new approaches that you might want to try. So that is a requirement of the individual supervision. So every time that you and I meet together on an individual basis, we'll need to have that observation occurring.
Okay, no problem.
Okay? And then every meeting as well, I fill out one of these supervision experience forms, and it just is something that kind of specifies what we talked about, and it allows me to kind of give you feedback on your performance on that, again, weekly basis. And then these are, you just keep these in your file. As documentation of our weekly meetings.
Great.
Okay?
Yeah.
All right.